Cherokee stories are a little different than some tribe stories in that we can tell them all year long. Now, some tribes will only tell certain stories in the wintertime when the animals are asleep so that they don't think that the humans are making fun of them, and they'll only tell them in the winter season. But like I said, Cherokee stories are to teach or to explain or just make us laugh. This story took place in a Cherokee village not far from here. There was an older man and an older woman, and they had grown too frail to do a lot of gardening or hunting. So what they did was they would grind corn by hand and exchange it for things that they needed from their neighbors for the cornmeal. And the way they did that was they hollowed out like a stump about that high and made a bowl down in the bottom, and then they carved a really long pedestal with a heavier end as a weight. So they used the small end, about as big as a broomstick, and the heavy end on top, and they would pound the dried pieces of corn. So the cornmeal could be used, and the larger pieces also could be used, chicken feed or whatever. This is all they had, and this is all they did. So one morning, you can imagine how shocked they were when they went out, and some of the sacks of cornmeal was gone. And some were just torn open, and the cornmeal was scattered all in the dirt. "Who would do this to us?" they said. "If anyone wanted cornmeal, we would have given it to them. Why did they do this?" So they were looking around for clues and cleaning up, and then they saw it. And it was a print of an animal as big as this. Then they knew that a supernatural creature had been the one to do that, and they were afraid it was going to come back. They went to their neighbors and their friends, and they showed them everything that had happened and talked about it, and they said, "We'll stay here with you. And whatever it is, when it comes back, we will scare it away." So they hid. They got rocks and sticks, and they were ready. They stayed all afternoon. They stayed until it got dark. When it got dark, they heard a whistling sound from the sky. When they looked up, they saw a huge shape flying towards them. And when it landed, they realized that it was a dog. It was a giant dog. And they watched as he grabbed up sacks of cornmeal, and then they remembered what they were trying to do, and they threw rocks, and they yelled at the dog, and they beat on sticks. And they startled the dog so that it jumped up into the sky again, but leaving a trail of cornmeal all across the sky. And in English, you call that the Milky Way. And in Cherokee, we say where the dog ran.